Have you ever pondered how a single, carefully shelved decision could rewrite the entire destiny of an NBA dynasty? Could one would have hung so heavily over a franchise that it reshapes the narrative we thought was settled? When does the line blur between loyalty and missed opportunity, especially in the heat of championship pursuit? Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, the pulse of everything Golden State. Smash that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring that bell so you never miss a second of this saga. Today we dive into one of the most tantalizing, almost happened stories swirling around Dub Nation, a tale of potential seismic shifts, hard to believe crossroads, and a player who was literally in Golden State's reach but somehow slipped through their grasp. Imagine the Warriors, fresh off the echoes of splashy dynasties past, standing at the edge of transformation yet standing. Still, the whispers began faint, but grew louder last season. Could the Warriors have dared to reinvent their roster by adding a unique force, a versatile powerhouse capable of shifting the entire playoff landscape? Some insiders quietly hinted at a possible trade scenario, revolving around a name that's been buzzing louder than ever this postseason: Pascal Siakam. Yes, that Pascal Siakam, the very same dynamo now leading the Indiana Pacers with an electrifying playoff run nobody saw coming, but everybody's now got to reckon with. Siakam, who exploded onto the scene with the Raptors years ago, had a certain aura of almost star status, great, but often overshadowed his highlight reel occasionally, a whisper next to other marquee names. But this season, he's torched the league, putting up MVP-caliber performances night after night, dragging a struggling Pacers team into the thick of playoff drama, carrying more weight than even Steph Curry shouldered during last year's tilt. It sometimes feels. In fact, Obi Toppin spilled the beans recently. Siakam wasn't just on the floor dropping buckets, but also setting the emotional tone behind the scenes, hosting a team meeting at his own house to rally his teammates, showing leadership the Warriors often crave but sometimes lack. Now, here's where the drama thickens. Last January, when Golden State was grappling with the grueling stretch of a playoff chase, the front office had a tantalizing opportunity knocking. NBA insider Mark J. Spears floated the idea of a blockbuster move, packaging the key pieces Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul to bring Siakam's unique blend of size, skill, and relentless motor to the Bay Area. Could this have been the missing ingredient to vault the Dubs back into the title mix, or even initiate a bold new chapter alongside Curry, Thompson, and Green? But the deal never took flight. Warriors leadership, perhaps reluctant to disrupt the status quo or overly loyal to players who eventually found new homes on their own, declined the offer. What if holding on to Wiggins and CP3 was a mistake? Both departed within months, leaving the front office wondering what might have been if the gamble had paid off. Fans on social media erupted, some calling it a blown chance of the decade, others speculating that an injury-prone CP3 and a sometimes inconsistent Wiggins just weren't worth trading for a rising star playing league-best defense, who's now averaging career highs in points, rebounds, and assists with the Pacers. Let's put it in perspective. Siakam's current playoff average is set at 25.7 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 5.1 assists per night on 50% shooting, including 38% from deep. Numbers that dwarf what most role players contribute and significantly outpace what the Warriors bench offered during their recent postseason exit. Compare that to Golden State's reserves. Last spring combined, they shot just 34.8% from three and contributed a mere 35 bench points per game, and you begin to see how adding Siakam could have filled multiple voids at once. Curry's silky 46% from three-point range and near 96% free throw accuracy remain the bedrock of the Warriors' offense. But as defenses tighten and his usage rate climbs above 32%, the call for more support grows ever louder. Draymond Green's defensive intensiveness remains elite. He led the league in deflections per game at 7.2 and anchored a top 5 defense when healthy, but at 34. Questions about his frontcourt mobility and back spasms weigh heavily on the team's championship prospects. Jordan Poole's explosive bursts and scoring surges are a breath of fresh air. Yet can one emerging star bear the burden of true playoff leadership alone? Could Siakam have filled that void? A versatile forward who can stretch defenses like a modern Kevin Durant, mixing high post initiations, post-ups, and corner threes into a seamless attack? Social media has erupted with imagined what-ifs and heated debates. One anonymous Warriors insider was quoted on an underground podcast. Pascal was the missing chess piece, You could see the almost immediate energy he would bring on and off the court. Meanwhile, popular NBA Twitter accounts have churned out highlight compilations of Siakam drilling tough, contested jumpers over the Warriors' own rising stars. During December's head-to-head matchup inside Chase Center, brutal reminder that the team could have had that inside edge, and it's more than just stats and plays. It's about identity. What kind of Warriors would have emerged by integrating Siakam's relentless drive, alongside Curry's artistry, Thompson's clutch shooting, and Green's defensive orchestration? Would the Bay once again dominate the league with a hybrid storm of speed, strength, and style? Or is it possible that chemistry risks and salary cap puzzles made even the visionaries blink? Then there's the financial calculus. Siakam is set to earn $35 million next season, a hefty price tag that would have gobbled up cap space, but also delivered immediate title credibility. Warriors CFO Mike Dunleavy Jr. reportedly balked at mortgaging future flexibility for a near-massive salary, wary of hindering raise signings of Moody, Kuminga, or even a reworked contract for Draymond. But some insiders counter that championship windows are finite. If you don't strike while the iron is hot, the window slams shut. Could taking on that big contract have prevented later salary cap headaches? Locking in a true second star next to Curry before the roster aged further. Off the court, the mood has shifted dramatically. Amadoka, in a rare public comment, praised Siakam's selfless competition and suggested he'd thrive in a locker room steeped in championship culture. Former Warriors great Andre Iguodala posted an Instagram story featuring a low-angle Siakam dunk, captioned "Imagine this in Dub Nation," fueling every Warriors bar and sports pub from Oakland to San Francisco to chant Siakam, Siakam, on screen loud enough for every casual fan to hear. Even ESPN's Stephen A. Smith weighed in, opining that Golden State's reluctance to pursue Siakam might be the biggest oversight of the dynasty era, a stark critique from one of the league's most outspoken voices. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Pacers fans celebrate like those championship banners are already in the rafters. Front office execs in Indianapolis have been caught on hot mic boasting that Siakam's breakout in Indy vindicates the Raptors' gamble, and that they'd never part with the heart of our team. The contrast between a franchise cherishing its cornerstone and another hesitating to pull the trigger couldn't be more stark. Could this divide in organizational conviction be the very reason one is hoisting banners, while the other chases shadows? Let's not forget the front court logjam that might have ensued. Imagine Draymond and Siakam rotating as twin anchors, each playing 25 minutes. Could that have suffocated opposing bigs into submission? Could Clay's catch-and-shoot prowess flourish, with so much interior collapse, drawing help-side defenders and leaving him wide open? Or would too many playmakers on the court at once create ego clashes and stagnant offense? Some insiders believe that bouncing to alpha forwards is like mixing volatile chemicals, explosive, if done right, but liable to blow up spectacularly if one element overshadows the other. Fast forward to today, and the endless what-ifs still echo through Chase Center's halls. The potential synergy between Curry's gravity pull, Thompson's quick release, Green's defensive orchestration, and Siakam's two-way versatility lingers as a phantom menace of regret. Warriors fans at playoff watch parties now pause when Siakam springs into action, half in awe, half in envy of what could have been. The narrative of near-miss echoes. Golden State once again gambled on continuity. Over risk, will that choice haunt their return to title contention? So here we stand, at another offseason crossroads. Will the Warriors let this memory of almost propel them into bolder moves? Perhaps rekindling talks for Pascal, or pivoting to another all-star caliber piece, or will they remain tethered to the safe path of nurturing existing talent? One thing's for certain, the specter of Siakam hovers over their decision-making like a question that refuses to be answered. But what do you think about all of this? Personally, as a ride-or-die member of Dub Nation, I believe the Warriors front office faced a crossroads that could have redefined the next era. But in choosing comfort over boldness, they might have just seeded the future. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you're catching this electric surge flowing through the veins of Dub Nation right now, slam that like button, torch that subscribe, and ring the damn bell so you're front row to every pulse-bounding moment of this Golden State Odyssey. Because what's coming next will shake the very foundation of Chase Center's future. Now, lean in close, because this story is no longer just rumor or fan fodder. It's a simmering narrative, thunderstorm threatening to explode over the Warriors' next blueprint. And it's about more than just Pascal Siakam's red-hot playoff emergence. It's about how the ripple effect of that near trade could utterly redefine Steph Curry's superstar trajectory. The unshakable defensive heart embodied by Draymond Green and the young core grinding in the shadows, all poised to either ascend or implode under newfound pressures. Imagine, just for a moment, Steph side by side with Siakam, a chameleon force whose versatility forces opposing defenses into contortions they've never experienced, facing the silky smooth splash maestro. This isn't merely a scoring upgrade. No, this is an entire Western Conference seismic shift to chess move that could have shaken Phoenix and Denver's burgeoning powerhouses, drained confidence from a Los Angeles Lakers squad desperately clutching at fading stars, and built an impenetrable fortress around the Golden State identity forged in fire. Since the days of We Believe, Steph Curry, magic incarnate from deep, thrives in isolation and pick-and-rolls where defenses bend and snap, but pairing his wizardry with Siakam's Herculean-to-weight performance, calculated aggression, and off-ball craftiness could have birthed a new mythos, one where the Warriors not only outshoot, but outmuscle and outlast rivals in a playoff grind. Built for the ages, yet chemistry is no quiet whisper in this tale. It is a tempest. What would this cauldron have meant for the young guns already scraping for minutes behind Curry and Clay? Payton people pulls as micro-explosions fueled hope with his rapid scoring flurries and insatiable confidence, but adding a proven all-star star like Siakam cramps minutes and reshuffles roles. For burgeoning talents like Jonathan Kuminga, fresh off Ruffin's quintessential Summer League magic, and Donnie DiVincenzo, whose defensive versatility has been a quiet catalyst. Worst-case scenario, ego clashes, fracturing locker room unity, and the subtle dismantling of the Warriors' famed cohesion. Best case, a new dynasty, the kind born in fierce competition, evolving roles, an unbreakable spirit that screams blue and gold untouchable. And within this powder keg sits Draymond Green, the defensive anchor and fiery locker room soul who, at 34, balances grit and swagger with whispers of an inevitable twilight. How does a Green recalibrate his game with another primary ball handler and scorer on board? Could Siakam's willingness to facilitate ease the burden, or does it trigger a tension, both competitive and strategic, that splits the team's heart? Statistically, this isn't idle daydreaming. Curry's historic shooting splits hovering at a breathtaking 46% beyond the arc, with a near-perfect 96%. On free throws illustrate his unyielding efficiency, but the increased defensive focus and the extended minutes grind on his magnificent frame. Andrew Wiggins, meanwhile, brought a two-way impact that combined elite defense on the perimeter with a smooth mid-range game, timely scoring bursts, and highlight reel plays that electrified crowds and pull scoring outbursts. They've been torchlight in rough nights, a glimpse of the future's star power. A shot of adrenaline for a team desperately searching for balance between youth and proven legend. Now juxtapose that against the backdrop of the Warriors' glittering Dynasty 5 titles in 8 years, a dynasty crowned with record-breaking regular seasons, buzzer beaters, game-changing shifts that forever altered basketball's modern script. Remember the fever pitch of 2007's We Believe run, the grit, the heart, the street ball swagger? That DNA is etched into the stones of Oracle Arena and carried forward with the Splash Brothers era roller coaster led by Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, defining an era of unrelenting three-point barrages, suffocating defense, and resilience forged in championship crucibles. But peers like Phoenix's Devin Booker and Chris Paul, Denver's Nikola Jokic carving cosmic stat lines that baffle reality, and LA's LeBron and AD strutted onto the hardwood with moves, and trades recalibrating power dynamics, exerting pressure on Golden State to make a statement, to evolve, to reignite the dominance fans cherish. The Warriors front office maneuvered a tightrope between loyalty, financial constraints, and chemistry, but the whispers from Roy Shams and even Andre Iguodala's locker room wisdom paint a portrait of a team at crosshairs, a delicate, balancing act between honoring legacy and chasing reinvention. Chatroom banter on Telegraph Avenue thunders with theories, as three-pointers clang against Bay Bridge steel, echoing like a call to arms. Could that January trade for Siakam have elevated dream season ambitions into reality? Even now, highlight reels of Siakam's ferocious drives and clutch pull-ups against the Warriors cut deep. A gnawing reminder that stars like him don't just grow on the sidelines, they define battlefields. As the playoffs unfold and Spicy P carves his name into postseason lore, with career highs in scoring, rebounding, and assists, every dribble is a haunting echo of what might have been a spectral presence hovering over Chase Center's hardwood rhythms. Could Golden State have hit a new stylistic sweet spot, a hybrid of Run TMC's unyielding flair, the gritty tenacity of the Splash 4, and that raw, unhinged push that turbocharged their prior dynasties, or did salary caps, risk aversion, and faith in the existing core forge a path that, while safer, left them vulnerable a step behind the West's brutal competitive surge? This isn't just trade speculation, it's a saga of identity, ambition, and the fine line between legacy and fading glory. It's about the moments that define a franchise's soul, and the agonizing seconds where calculated decisions birth legends or regrets. Warriors fans, it's time for our collective heartbeats to synchronize, to wrestle with the tantalizing and terrifying possibility that this audacious gambit, the enigmatic Siakam trade, might have been the missing shockwave that set the Bay Area ablaze once more. Now, the ultimate question blares louder than a sold-out Chase Center crowd in Game 7. Will this audacious gamble be the seismic moment when the Warriors roar back to glory, reclaim their throne atop the NBA hierarchy, and write a new chapter, glowing in blue and gold? Or will history remember this as the catch-20 to crossroads where opportunity slid through fingers, clutching to loyalty and comfort? Personally, as a relentless member of Dub Nation, hands inked with the scars of championship wars and eyes set on future trophies, I believe this untaken path, this hypothetical fusion of warrior and installation, holds the power to rewrite the narrative, because in a league built on moments, in a city pulsing with passion, the bold never fade. They become legends. So if you feel that electric charge badger your skin, if your heart races with the spirit of the game, smash that like button, dive into the comments with your hottest takes, and stay locked tight to Warriors News Fan Report, because the next play in this saga is just around the corner, and trust me, Dub Nation will want to be the first to hear the roar.